Hello and welcome to Chabot News for December 4th, 2025. My name is Lala D, and today we will be covering Maduro of Venezuela, country music legend Dolly Parton, and nurses being told they're not professionals. In entertainment news, Ivan Davis will tell you about Wicked for Good. And finally, in sports news, Bruce Malloy has the latest updates on the World Cup draw. All that and more coming up in today's edition of Chabot News. Venezuela has condemned the U.S.'s designation of Cartel de los Soles as a foreign terrorist organization. This comes as the Trump administration declared Maduro and members of his government as being a part of the group. Stefano reports.
The Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro did not personally react to the designation of several members of the Maduro government, including the president himself, Maduro himself, as members of a supposed foreign terrorist organization called the Cartel de los Soles, which is a collective name that members of the press and diplomats here in Venezuela use to refer to the fact that many government officials in this country are accused of being involved in narco-trafficking. In his weekly TV show late on Monday, Maduro was more keen to speak about other issues concerning Venezuela. And when it came to geopolitics, he made the reference to talks that he had with Xi Jinping, rather than addressing this new designation. Earlier on Monday, his government wrote in a statement that those accusations are laughable lies. But it's important to point out that Maduro, especially in his shows and his appearances, as he appears on TV here almost on a daily basis, is really portraying the message that nothing of that pressure coming down from Washington is breaking through, that nothing of this pressure is changing anything for regular Venezuelans who are going on, frankly, with their daily lives, even after 16 weeks of a standoff between Washington and Caracas. And all of this is happening as our team in Washington was able to confirm that the White House has been given an option to hold a direct phone calls between Nicolas Maduro himself and the president, Donald Trump. A direct phone call that would lead, of course, to more formal negotiations, even though, as we just said, Maduro has just been designated a member of a foreign terrorist organization. At this moment, late on Monday night, we understand that President Donald Trump has not made a final decision on whether to take that call, although he did say that he was open to speaking in person with Maduro in the past. For CNN, this is Stefano Pozzebon, Caracas.
Thank you for that report, Stefano. The act of designating President Maduro a leader of a terrorist organization may just be a move to bring Maduro to the negotiations table. Many U.S. allies have stopped sharing intelligence because they deem the destruction of small boats off the coast of Venezuela as a violation of international law. This puts the U.S. in a difficult situation as no other country backs this narrative. It will be interesting to see how all this plays out. U.S. home prices increased in September at a slightly weaker pace, while sales of homes rose in most of the country in October. The S&P Totality Case-Shiller U.S. National Home Price Index rose 1.3% in September. That's slightly down from a gain of 1.4% in August, and the weakest pace since 2023. Meanwhile, pending home sales in October rose nearly 2% from the prior month. The National Association of Realtors said that brings the index to its highest level in a full year. Home sales were up across the country except in the West. It's a sign that lower mortgage rates are spurring home buying activity. A California lawmaker has filed a lawsuit against the director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency. Tuesday, Democratic Representative Eric Swalwell took civil action against Bill Pulte in a Washington, D.C. federal court. Swalwell accuses the agency's director of violating the Privacy Act and the First Amendment. Swalwell claims Pulte abused his position by scouring databases at Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac for private mortgage records of prominent Democrats. The suit stems from Pulte's recent criminal referral against Swalwell to the Department of Justice for alleged mortgage fraud violations. Swalwell has denied the allegations against him, saying he disclaimed any intent to make his D.C. home a primary residence. The House Democrat noted he remains a permanent resident of California. Dolly Parton, a country music legend, actress, philanthropist, and businesswoman, and now she has a new venture, a travel stop in Tennessee. Dolly says the concept came to her after years of life on the road touring. Specific design details have not been revealed for the rebrand of the Tennessean travel stop. However, it's described as a southern hospitality destination where family road trippers and truck drivers alike will feel welcome and comfortable to rest and recharge before getting back on the road. There will be curated dining, regional retail, and modern amenities. Dolly's Tennessean travel stop will be located in Cornersville near the Alabama border. It's expected to open early next summer with more locations planned for the future. Now let's go from an entertainer to entertainment with Ivan Davis.
Thanks, Lala D. This weekend's box office brought plenty of surprises with two brand new releases breaking into the chart at number 4 and number 5. The film at number 3 continues to hold its ground while last week's number 1 has been overtaken, setting the stage for our next feature story. And for the number 1 movie, well, we'll let CNN count down and reveal that headline. David Daniel has the video rundown of the top 5 films audience have been buzzing about, and the film that overtook last week's number 1. That's our next story, and it's the blockbuster fans have been waiting for.
Sometimes the story we tell ourselves becomes the truth.
Rental Family, starring Brendan Fraser, started out in 5th place, taking in $3.3 million.
Have you ever wondered if this game is rigged?
Guess we'll find out.
The Running Man scooted down to 4th place in its sophomore weekend, flying off with $5.8 million.
So this is your first hunt.
Predator Badlands made $6.3 million to stay in 3rd place.
2 generations of magicians brought together for a reason.
Now You See Me, Now You Don't lost the top spot, conjuring up $9.1 million to finish in 2nd place.
Here's the plan. I have no plan.
Well, I do.
Oh, thank God.
Wicked for Good zoomed off to a $150 million debut, the best opening ever for a Broadway adaptation and the second biggest 3-day launch of the year behind a Minecraft movie. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Thank you. That was a fantastic rundown, David. We haven't seen the last of Wicked for Good. Now, the spotlight shifts to the film that everyone's talking about. The number 1 movie this week is Wicked for Good. It is the highly anticipated musical Wizard of Oz fantasy that has soared past the movie Now You See It, Now You Don't by a wide margin. Wicked has dazzling visuals and a story that fans have been waiting years to see on the big screen. Wicked is proving to be a true box office phenomenon. Let's roll the preview, followed by CNN's coverage of how it claimed the top spot.
For Wicked fans, perhaps you should pay attention to this man behind the curtain.
I'm a vocal coach and I'm a voice teacher, so I really train people how to sing and speak. We do a lot of speaking too, but mostly singing.
Eric Vitro has worked with Ariana Grande for many years and began prepping her for the role of Glinda before she even auditioned.
For Wicked, Ariana really wanted it to sound authentic to what Glinda should sound like, which is pretty operatic. And she had not sung that way before. She had all the high notes. She already could sing them. Everyone knows she has those super high whistle register notes. And I've known her since she was about 13 years old, 13, 14. We've been working together. So I knew she had all the notes. But what this was all about, our working experience for Wicked, was about training her voice to sound more operatic, like a legit Broadway soprano.
That people come into our lives for a reason.
We worked for months together before the audition and then months after the audition once she got the part, just because she wanted it to be there at moment's notice. And I think she could probably still to this day wake up in the middle of the night and hit a high C like Linda because it's so in her voice now.
Because I knew you. Think of what we could do.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Wicked for Good arrived in theaters now and has already made over $150 million in its first 3 days in the theaters. It is good to see people back at the movies. Now let's go back to the news with Lala D.
Thank you for that wicked entertainment report, Ivan. Scalpel meets cyberspace in a major medical breakthrough in the world's first. Teams collaborate across continents to perform in heart surgery. Patrick Cornell has that story from France.
Check out this delicate operation done from thousands and thousands of miles away. Recent video showing professors sitting in a room at Bordeaux University Hospital in France fixing the heart of a patient in Xiamen, China, a distance of more than 6,000 miles. They're claiming this is the first ever cross-national robot-assisted transcatheter cardiac intervention. Professors in France using a remote control platform connected to that robot in China to guide the procedure, while a team in China monitored the patient's vital signs, saying they successfully completed a transcontinental transcatheter edge-to-edge mitral valve repair on a real live heart. The operation only taking an hour from start to finish, and apparently it worked well. The hospital reports the patient has been discharged in good condition, noting this could mark a new era for collaborative remote robotic treatment.
Thanks for that report, Patrick. Performing a surgery from 6,000 miles away seems pretty crazy. The promises of remote surgery could help out small rural hospitals in emergency situations. Sometimes we need a reminder that we're in the 21st century. A controversial decision has sparked outrage in the healthcare community as the education department has reclassified nursing degrees as a non-professional degree. This could threaten the future of the nursing fields and limit access to federal student aid. Gianni Navarro has this report.
I might be taking care of a medical surgical patient who is mildly sick. I might be taking care of a neonatal ICU patient who's a little bit sicker.
Elise Hector has been a registered nurse for almost 13 years. It's a rewarding profession she worked hard for, but now officials want to strip away her professional title.
To be told that you're a healthcare hero, and then to be told, oh, wait a minute, the thing that you've been taught that you're not anymore. You're going to still do the same thing every day, but you're not a professional. You're less than.
Elise says officials no longer classifying nursing degrees as professional will make it harder to become a nurse.
I have 2 advanced degrees, and I had to use federal funds for both of them. So capping out the federal funds would have meant that I would not have been able to get the degrees that I got.
Elise says nurses save lives every day. Losing the title diminishes that.
And that's something that we have the advanced skill and knowledge and background to be able to do, which is why we're a profession, because we have the specialized knowledge and skills to be able to make those choices.
The Dean of Nursing of Rockhurst University agrees.
I don't think that any true provider would ever say that one is more essential than another. They're all critical to all of us maintaining a healthy status and getting the quality care that we deserve.
Henry calls nurses essential. People lean on them in times of need. Without them, communities face gaps in care.
The nurses are the ones that have stepped forward and provided that care when needed.
While the decision disappoints her, she doesn't think it will deter future nurses.
No one, I don't think, goes into it lightly because it is very difficult, but it's also very rewarding. I'm hoping that will balance out some of these more negative aspects.
Thank you, Gianni. Nurses are irate at the U.S. government because they say their profession is built on skill, compassion, and years of training. While this decision may change funding, they're determined it won't change their commitment to their profession. The future of the nursing remains uncertain as access to higher loan limits may limit enrollments in the future. This could result in an even more severe nursing shortage in the future. Some Boar's Head label food items have been recalled due to a risk of bacterial contamination. According to a notice from the Ambriola company, the recall is tied to some of its Pecorino Romano cheese products that could potentially contain listeria. The company distributes some of the cheese under the Boar's Head brand. The recall includes cheese sold in 6-ounce containers. 2 prepackaged deli items under the recall are the Ever Roast Chicken Caesar salad and Chicken Caesar wrap. So far, there are no reports of anyone getting sick. Boar's Head said out of an abundance of caution, it's pulling back all products the Ambriola company produces for it. This includes pre-cut pecorino romano, not under recall. Let's move on to sports with Bruce Malloy.
Thanks, Lala D. Iran is boycotting the next week's 2026 World Cup draw in Washington, D.C. after the U.S. reportedly denied visas to several members of the delegation. Iranian officials have now reportedly turned to the president of FIFA for help. Earlier this summer, President Trump announced a travel ban from several countries, including Iran, while citing security risks. However, exceptions were carved out in the ban, including for athletes and coaches traveling to the U.S. for the World Cup. But it's unclear if that included the World Cup draw. While caution is understood, open travel should be extended for all World Cup events. Good news for fans of soccer superstar Cristiano Ronaldo. He won't miss any of next summer's World Cup games. The Portugal captain was sent off the pitch during his country's World Cup qualifying game against Ireland on November 13th after he swung an elbow at a defender. The red card meant Ronaldo would be ineligible to play in Portugal's final World Cup qualifier against Armenia. Then FIFA disciplinary committee extended the punishment to a 3-game ban. But now the committee has ruled that Ronaldo would be granted a 1-year probationary period, and the final 2 matches of Ronaldo's ban will be suspended. It means Ronaldo won't have to miss any future games as long as he doesn't commit another infringement of a similar nature. I'm Bruce Malloy, and that's a wrap on sports. Now back to Lala D.
Thanks for that World Cup 2026 update, Bruce. Notice that it's become colder around here? Well, it's not just us feeling the chills. A deep freeze crippled the Northeast with 6 to 10 inches of snow in parts of New England. Tuesday evening, Boston's Logan International Airport was under a ground stop because of icy winds in Vermont. State troopers responded to 50 weather-related crashes. In Pennsylvania, troopers recorded more than 600 crashes, and there's more to come. On Wednesday, the coldest area of the season is headed to the Midwest. Arctic air from Canada is expected to blast parts of the Dakotas. Then the real punch comes Thursday morning, as sub-zero temperatures could extend as far south as northern Missouri. As the weather gets colder, a Missouri teen has made it her mission to make sure people have what they need to stay warm. Claire Bradshaw reports from Kansas City.
Blue Springs teen Reagan Galloway works hard every winter. She is a nonprofit, King the Cold, a softball term meaning to strike out the cold. She collects cold weather items for people in need. Reagan then gives those to other nonprofits like Shelter KC and Many Parts One Body so they can focus their resources elsewhere.
When I was 9, I learned about a family member that didn't have the best childhood and didn't have a bed to grow up on, to sleep on. And so we were talking about it. We're sitting at the dinner table. I was like, yeah, I really want to help people. We just started with blankets and sleeping bags. And so as we've grown, we've done more things like gloves, stocking hats, socks, and sometimes even hand warmers.
Just in her first year, Reagan collected 132 blankets, and this year she has a goal of 6,000 items with a garage full of donations to show it. Reagan's mom, Christy, is her manager, but also one of her biggest supporters.
She has talked about wanting other kids to get involved, so we officially started an ambassador program. We became a nonprofit last year, so our board approved this to where other kids can essentially go and fundraise, and if they're in other parts of the states, they can identify organizations that they want to support and donate to as long as it falls into our missions.
Even including little kids, 5-year-olds or 6-year-olds, and just having them help, it's showing them what the world kind of looks like outside of what they have.
Thank you for that report, for that heartwarming report, Claire. People who want to help Reagan can donate through her Amazon wishlist. That information is on King the Code Facebook page, or you can Venmo a donation to @StrikingOutTheCode. That's all for Chabot News this week. Thanks to all the students and staff in the Mass Communications Department here at Chabot College for making this production possible. You can watch us anytime online at youtube.com/ChabotTV. Stay tuned to KCTH Channel 27 on Comcast for more Chabot TV.